So we all know that feeling of logging into the university portal and finding out that we failed an assignment, an exam, or even an entire course. And you know, that's a gut-wrenching feeling, of course it is. But if we zoom out a whole and look at the history of engineering, we see that engineering is built off of failures from the engineers who have come before us. Without these failures, humanity wouldn't be where it is at today. Those failures makes this world what it is. That's just something that you gotta understand. And I myself, I have failed many times, whether it be small or large. But despite it, I'm still here studying as a student intern. And I don't know where you're at in your career path, but I recommend that you listen to me. I'm pretty sure we could all agree that it wasn't easy to engineer the world around us. Whether it was the electrical engineers, the civil engineers, the mechanical engineers, mechatronics, manufacturing, all of the engineers of the world. It couldn't have been easy for them to build what we have today. Do you really think that the computers that everyone depends on was engineered without failure? Do you really think that the engine that powers vehicles was engineered without failure? Do you really think that sending a rocket out of Earth's orbit into the literal abyss that we call space was engineered without failure? Fuck no! Nothing that was engineered in this world was engineered without failure. Engineering is supposed to be hard. We all know how hard it is to study engineering in itself with Navier-Stokes equation, triple integral this, all of that kind of shit. If it's hard to study engineering right now, do you really think it's not going to be difficult when we actually graduate university and become an engineer for the rest of our lives pretty much? Of course it's going to be hard. And if something's hard, it's a pretty high chance that there's going to be some failures in it. And if you think it's painful to fail right now while you're just failing all of these classes in university, imagine how hard it is for these companies in the engineering industry when they fail. They spend millions of fucking dollars on each failure. But the difference between you and those companies is that those companies, they don't see those failures as burdens. They see those millions of dollars spent into that project as investments on learning opportunities, because failure is the number one teacher to make an engineer learn. If those companies cannot be butthurt and not cry themselves to sleep at night because of those failures that they spend millions of dollars on, then I'm pretty sure you can handle your failures right now that you're facing in university. And I'm not neglecting your feelings or anything, saying that, oh, stop being such a bitch or whatever. But I'm saying you may as well look at the, not to be cheesy, but the positive side of failure rather than the negative side, if it's always going to be inevitable anyways. Therefore, when you inevitably get rejected from this internship that you applied to, you got to learn from that application. Look meticulously at like, oh, how can I make my resume better? How can I make my cover letter better? How can I make my portfolio better? All of these little things to make yourself, you as a whole, just better. Same thing goes for internship interviews or job interviews. Look at the details that made you fail that interview. Be like, oh, how could I have answered this question better? How could I have answered this question better? Should I have had more open body language? All of these kinds of things. Because if you just don't learn anything from an interview that you failed, then the next interview that you do after that is going to be the same exact result. Same thing goes for assignments and exams, or even if you fail a course, be like, why did I fail this course? Did I not study enough? Did I not attend lectures? Did I not attend tutorials? Did I not learn anything from the labs that I was doing in these classes? Just look into meticulous detail on how you can improve from every single failure. Because once you once you graduate university and you actually work in the engineering field, those failures, when they pop up, you're gonna have already tuned your brain to see this thing not as something bad, but as something that you should learn from. And that is how you become a great engineer. Of course, as just a disclaimer, I'm not saying that you should fucking fail all of your classes. Be like, oh yeah, this guy's saying that failures is always gonna happen, so I'll just fail all my classes and slack off. No, that's not what I'm saying at all, okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. You should always try to minimize the failure in any given situation and perform at your absolute best. And that's exactly why I do what I do. Make these videos, mentor people inside of my program through calls so I can minimize the failure that they have throughout university. In that program, I tell them the failures that I've done and the successes that I've done so that they could implement the same knowledge that I have into their engineering career. Now, I'm not saying all of the students in your class are cheating, but I'm saying that most likely a lot of them are, majority even are. And these are the people that I call pretengineers, people that cheat on assignments, exams, abuse AI, and plagiarize off of their friends to do this one assignment. They have no integrity. They don't act ethically while they're just in school. Imagine what they're going to be doing while they're outside of university and graduated, working in the engineering field. Holy shit. These guys take online exams as an opportunity to cheat with their other cheating engineering friends. There was this one exam for a materials science class. It was a really fucking hard class, one of the hardest classes that I've ever had. And it was for the midterm exam. There were two parts for it. First, the online part, and then the in-person part. I got a decent mark for both of them. But when the exam marks came back to us and I saw the averages of both the online and the in-person, the online exam portion was an average of 97%. And then guess what the in-person exam average was? What do you think? You might be thinking like, oh, probably similar, 80, 90%. 55%. The in-person portion was an average of 55% for all of the students. What do you think happened? What do you think happened? When nobody was watching during the online exam portion, they nearly aced that portion. However, when the professors are all of a sudden watching, they almost fucking fail that portion. Yeah, coincidence? I don't fucking think so. They fucking cheated. Fucking pretengineers, I hate them, and you should fucking hate them too. And I'm not just saying this to cuddle you and be like, oh, it's okay that you failed. All of the other students are cheating. No. Of course I'm not fucking cuddling you. I'm saying this so that you don't compare yourself to the pretengineers that cheat on exams and don't use their fucking brain like you actually did, and how you actually acted with integrity to actually grow throughout this course, right? So don't fucking compare yourself to no pretengineers, man. This fucking inaccurate comparison. And I'm also saying that you shouldn't give in to cheating no matter how hard it gets in University of Engineering. Remember what I said, engineering is supposed to be hard. And when these pretengineers, they cheat, they don't learn the skill of adaptability to adapt to failures. And when they graduate, since they didn't learn that skill of adaptability, what do you think is going to happen when they're faced with failure, or they actually have to show their skills when things are crucial? Their boss is going to see that they're a fucking liar. They fucking lied throughout their interview. They lied on their resume and lied on their cover letter and all of the stuff that they told them. Their boss is going to see that they're a pretengineer, and therefore they're going to fire them, and this boss isn't going to be a good reference for them to use. So do not, by all means, do not give in to cheating. Not just for the sake of yourself, but for the sake of others. Because one thing that I also got to say, which is a bit off topic, but I must say this, is that pretengineers are the types of people that act without integrity, right? And what do you think happens when they're doing engineering work and they again act without integrity because it's just a habit that's ingrained in their brain? They're going to reduce maintenance done on a project for the sake of less costs. They're going to risk a bridge breaking down because they didn't perform the maintenance on that bridge. They were unethical in university, so they're going to have the same unethical actions when they actually work in the engineering field. These types of situations have happened time and again in the past. I'm not just making this shit up, right? Bridges have collapsed in the past, killing tens of lives. Buildings have collapsed in the past, killing hundreds of lives. Gas leaks have occurred, killing thousands of innocent lives. History has repeated itself because of pretengineers, people who cheat and abuse their powers of an engineer. Don't fall into cheating no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much you fail. You gotta go through engineering the right way. This is shit that nobody talks about. Nobody even on this platform of YouTube talks about. But it must be said to engineering students, because engineering students aren't just students, like just people striving towards a career. No, we're not. We're future engineers that this world will depend on. So we gotta act like it. Those students that you see cheating while you're doing the work on your own, you don't want to be like them. Those students that literally slack off in group projects and therefore make you do the work and steal your precious time, you don't want to be like them. Be an ethical, purposeful engineer. Remain the way you are and don't give in to that fucking dark side of cheating. Now, there are certain situations where failure can be insignificant and not as bad as you think it is. And what I'm saying here is, let me put this in an example, right? Let's say you're wanting to be an aerospace engineer, right? You're wanting to build rockets and send satellites to space, all of that kind of stuff. Let's say you fail this one class that is based on concrete material and structural engineering. Does it really matter? Does it really matter if you fail this one class that isn't aligned with your aerospace degree or aerospace desired career? 40 years down the line, when you're a professional aerospace engineer, will you be haunted at night because you failed this one concrete class or some shit that was based around civil engineering? No, you're not gonna be stressing about that kind of thing, right? So within these situations where you gotta think like an essentialist, and an essentialist is someone that only focuses on the essential or the crucial things that align with their goals in life. So of course, I'm not just saying that you just cut out all of the lessons that you could learn from this failure, but I'm saying that you don't stress yourself about things that are unessential to your goals as an engineer. So whatever your dream career is, you got to define that, by the way. If you're an engineering student, you by all means have to define your dream career. Like, what do you want to be? Hardware engineer in the agricultural manufacturing industry? Do you want to be a mechanical design engineer in, say, the automotive industry? Whatever it is, define it. And only when you define your dream career, you're gonna see what types of classes are essential and what sort of things you can see that you shouldn't stress about. And I want to emphasize the importance of this by sharing something from my program. There's this pyramid right here that I share in my program that shows the experience levels of an engineer. There's the career at the top of the pyramid, but this career can only be reached if you have an internship which is aligned with that career. This is the dream career that you must define, and that internship has to be aligned with it. And in order to get this internship, you have to have projects that align with it. And in the program, I teach you what types of projects you should make based off of your dream career. I teach you which types of internships that you should apply to, how to nail them, and overall succeed in skyrocketing your engineering career while you're just an engineering student. Because I'm in the exact same shoes as you. I am in school right now. I know the exact steps that you have to take.